Sometimes, out of nowhere, it crackles into being, fresh and electric. More often, it bubbles out of a cauldron of discontent, an alloy of anger and hope. What is this thing called innovation? Where does it come from? How is it made? It almost always begins with a question.
PART is a set of questions. It asks, is the program's purpose clear?
Are the program's financial management practices sound?
How does this program compare with other programs that have similar goals?
Is the program duplicative of other federal programs?
The questions that are asked are kind of the keen grasp of the obvious.
Are managers held accountable for program results?
But they haven't been asked of bureaucracies before.
I asked the performance evaluation team to do a step back and think about what would the average person on the street ask about a federal program to know whether or not it's working.
The questions are Management 101.
How is the program designed? Is it meeting a need? Because you can be achieving results that nobody wants and that the country doesn't need.
We have the potential to be able to tell the American taxpayer, we are spending your money better.
This is a performance-based objective review as to whether or not the expectations that government had for these programs is being met.
And these parts cover the whole government. We're talking education programs, environment programs, homeland security, defense.
And the PART has helped form the basis of program reforms and recommendations that have helped the government run better and save taxpayers billions of dollars.
I mean, the question I have is how you make a connection between a process which happens in Washington and connect that to students at a college campus.
Because we looked at one program that loans money to kids to go to college, compared it with another one, and we found some inefficiencies that we could get rid of. We're going to save $34 billion over 10 years.
That's big. So more students and prospective students will be able to afford college than they did in the past.
Yes, and they'll be able to borrow more money. And the taxpayers will save $1 billion a year.
In the beginning, it starts with a leap of faith. The future is open.
In the spring of 2003, Governor Vilsack and the legislative leaders made a bold decision in this building. They decided to create charter agencies in Iowa.
Charter agencies are a strategy for giving governors the ability to reconnect government back to the people that they serve.
Charter agencies is all about offering agencies a different kind of deal.
We have a tendency to hamstring folks.
The New Deal is about innovation, dynamism, creativity. It's about producing results for Iowans.
What you're seeing is a shift with charter agencies away from the process to the result. That's the key. It's the result that's the key.
Charter agency status presented us both a climate and the opportunity to compress that rulemaking, that very strangulating process that often goes with government.
Charter agencies promised to produce measurable results for Iowans, and they promised to help us fill the budget hole that year. In return, they got a laundry list of flexibilities and authorities and freedoms that they had not had before.
And the result is we've increased more than 50,000 Iowans who are now able to access the food assistance program through this card, the Iowa card. How do taxpayers benefit in our state? Well, let's start with here. There are 3 beneficiaries to it. Most importantly, it's the 200,000 plus people, individuals, who are benefiting from the food assistance. But the secondary beneficiaries are supermarkets, just like this one. They're getting that extra $50 million in revenue that comes into the state. And then the third group of people, the food assistance program in the United States, it's there really to assist commodity producers and farmers. We're a farming state. We grow the food here. We ought to be leaders in giving people access to the food.
In the beginning, a single voice.
We're in the Westlake district of Los Angeles.
Cuts through the city.
This is probably one of the densest areas in the country. Actually, 1 out of every 5 buildings is severely overcrowded, which means an average of about 4 to 5 people, and in some cases we have found up to 12 people living in a single bedroom apartment.
A Blue Ribbon Committee of Citizens was formed and came to the conclusion that the only way to truly solve the problem of slum housing was going to be through a systematic code inspection program that went citywide.
As opposed to inspecting them only when a resident complained about the conditions in a building. Some of them are just afraid to complain because of retaliation.
This is one of the properties that came to our attention under our systematic code enforcement program.
In this building, there's 72 units. Violations range from mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Now, with our systematic code enforcement program, there is a system in place.
There's such an enormous amount of violations in just this building alone. We've decided to use our PDAs, where the inspectors can collect and inventory the violations found on the property. It includes the camera, which we can photograph that violation, and it'll incorporate that violation with our original notice to the owners.
And as a result of that, over 1.5 million citations have been issued. And the importance of that is that we can calculate the value of the repairs that come along with those violations. Somewhere in the area of $1.4 billion has been reinvested in the Los Angeles economy because of our program.
Helping people who could otherwise not do for themselves. We're improving the quality of life issues. And for me personally, when I go home every night, it's a wonderful thing.
This is how we start, our vision from the heart. In the beginning, we hide our fears away. The promise of freedom is possible today.
My name's Marcel Mason, and I was just released here from prison. I've served altogether 9 years and 9 months.
This program deals with individuals who are maxing out. They are not making parole. There is no supervision when they get out normally.
I really feel that there's a better way of approaching, how you re-enter somebody into the community. You're done with your sentence. Nobody can make you do anything. There's no hook in you, but I can offer you these services.
Well, we got you set up with a place to live, and we're going to hook you up with benefits temporarily until you have a job and whatever else you need to get on your feet.
Have so many strikes against them coming out. Can't get student loans, you can't get into public housing, you can't get AFDC, or very punitive laws that prevent you from going to work in certain areas.
This is the way they were sending these people back, and that not expecting them to reoffend when they had nothing. We're meeting them and saying, look, you're coming back to our neighborhoods. So this is what we can offer you.
Today we're going to go shopping, we're going to get you a new set of clothes, we're going to go to Kmart, you can pick anything you want in the store. It's just, be nice to dress like yourself for a change.
Yeah, I'm tired of wearing the prison clothes every day.
How do you feel today?
I feel good. It's an unbelievable feeling.
It's got to be so different.
I'm so excited. I have so many opportunities out here, for me. Mm-hmm. Opportunities that I never even known about.
Overall recidivism rate across the United States with people coming out without any help is 61%. But in the last year, from 2004 to 2005, our recidivism rate was exactly 8.7%. So it's just good use of money.
For us, it costs about $3,000 a client to provide these services. If you're in the state correctional facilities, $25,000 to $30,000 a year. Plus, if the person gets employed, they're paying taxes.
If it had not been for Allegheny County Forensics, I would be leaving out of here homeless with no means of support.
Change is hard for people. Change is especially hard when we talk about bringing young people into the mix.
What do you got? Well, we were just talking about some issues that were in our neighborhood, about how we have a lot of things that go wrong with crime, and our park is totally demolished to having it filled with alcohol and drugs.
About this whole idea called creativity.
The idea about having young people as an integral part of the community really came from the young people themselves.
I was sick of not being able to do anything for my community. I was sick of it. Tired of seeing it go downhill. Tired of the gangs, tired of the drugs, tired of the alcohol abuse, tired of it all.
When you have that one person stand up for positivity, all others will come around and do the same thing.
Our Youth Civic Engagement initiative is a whole system of opportunities for young people to be engaged in our community, in our local government, in their neighborhoods, in their school, not just because it's good for them, but because it's good for us. Their wisdom or their insight is valuable to the workings of local government, to a school system, to a neighborhood, to a family.
About drugs,
They come right up to you and ask you?
Some of the young people have identified crime as one of the things that they really want to work on in their neighborhood.
As a police department, we need the assistance of the people that live in the neighborhood. It's very important for them to be involved in it and let us know what's going on so we can be a tool for them to make sure their environment is safe and secure.
Many of them have been very successful. In fact, we had a couple of neighborhoods where we literally cut the youth crime in half.
I believe we can actually make it a community again instead of a collection of people that just live here.
Sometimes when I'm in a group with them and I hear them say some of the things that they say about their struggles or about their insights or whatever, I just think, my God, I'm so privileged, you know, to be in their presence.
In the beginning, a single voice cuts through the city, through all the noise.
Each year we're required to do a lottery if we have more applications than we have slots.
All right, number 25, there you are.
The lottery night is the best day of the year for me and probably the saddest day of the year for me because there are some families who will not get in.
Let's give all of those who were selected a big round of applause.
And so you have tears of joy and tears of sadness. And so the students who are graduating tomorrow are some of those families who 6 years ago, their number was called.
I remember the lottery like it was yesterday.
It took me 6 years to actually get to this spot of today, and I just feels good to actually know that this day has finally come for me to walk across the stage to get my diploma and actually go off to college.
I was talking with just about anybody that would listen to this great idea I had to start a college prep boarding school.
And that was the nugget.
And the second time that we met, we agreed to quit our jobs and go do this.
It starts with a leap of faith.
It doesn't matter how many times you fail or how many times you fall down. What matters is how many times you get up and how many times you try.
Here's what we did. We didn't only walk up to Capitol Hill. We walked to Anacostia and Marshall Heights, and we said, we have this idea, we'd like your feedback.
Don't assume a door is closed, push on it.
And we met everyone who was willing to give us the time, and we said, we have this idea.
2005 means The boarding program is really powerful in changing kids' lives, and what makes it powerful is that you're providing support to the educational process 24 hours a day.
It's also probably the most efficient use of resources. You have big brothers, big sisters, you have SAT prep, you have midnight basketball. All of those things are going on, but they're disjointed programs that don't necessarily have the same culture and norms and aren't consistent.
And we know when a student gets to the classroom that they, in the last 24 hours, have had all the pieces that they need to be successful. They've had nutritious meals, they've had enforced bedtime, they've had study hall where they've done the homework, and most of all, what we have done is created a community where the norm is that you do the work and you work hard and you prepare yourself for college.
In the class of 2005, all of you have been accepted to a 4-year college or university.
Our world comes alive as it changes. A single idea that awakes us. Yes, this is how we start. Our vision from the heart. Yeah. Our vision from the heart.